Hi, I'm Martin Horsley. I'm the head chef of number 35 at Sofitel, Melbourne and Collins. Okay, today we're going to make a Daube or Provençal, which basically is a fancy name for beef casserole. Okay, we'll be using selective cuts of meat, like chuck or rump, which is ready available from your local butcher or superstore. I'm just going to marinate it a little bit with some white wine and brandy, also garlic, orange and bay leaf. So basically just pour the white wine. What this does, it breaks it down. It kind of just releases the fat and tenderizes it at the same time. Also gives it a great flavor. Just a dash of brandy, a little bit of olive oil, and then the garlic, grated orange and bay leaf. And I'll just leave that for about 20 minutes, not too long, otherwise you'll overpower the meat. So we've just got to seal off some button mushrooms, which have just been cut into quarters, about 12 to a kilo of meat. We've got some diced kaiser flesh. Now kaiser flesh is just like a smoked bacon cured. You can get it in your superstores in the deli section. It's quite ready available. Basically what it is, it's cured smoked meat. And basically we'll take the fat off and then we'll just slowly, we'll just cut it into small dice. And that'll just add smokiness and richness to the casserole. That's a little bit of butter, helps the bacon and the mushrooms to stop sticking to the pan. Just make sure that the fat is quite hot. Otherwise you end up stewing the smoked bacon and the mushrooms. Put the bacon in there. You don't need to overcook this because purely when it goes into the braise, all that flavour is going to be released. You're just putting more flavour into the pan. They're cooking, just add your mushrooms. What we need to do, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper. So I think now that the ham's all done, the mushrooms are nicely glazed. So all we do now is we just put this into a colander just to drain off the excess fat. All we've got to do now in the same pan is just start sealing off all the diced vegetables. You've got your celery, carrot, onions, bay leaf, and a little bit of chopped thyme. The vegetables are all starting to break down, starting to cook very nicely. Don't overcook the vegetables because again it's got to go in the oven and it's got to braise. So again with the mushrooms, the same as we did with the mushrooms, just get your vegetables, pour them over the mushrooms and the smoked bacon and just let them drain just to get rid of all the excess fat. Drain off the beef, get rid of all that excess alcohol. Okay, don't worry about the discoloration of the meat, that's just the alcohol. And now we're just going to mix it with some flour to help it cook and brown, and that will help thicken the casserole as well. So just give the beef a good mix with the flour, just make sure that it's well coated. So when we seal it, it goes nice and golden brown. As you see, you just need to get that nice coating of the beef, so it dries it out, so when you put it in the pan, it crisps up and goes nice and golden. If you're gluten intolerant, just use corn flour instead of plain flour. Okay, again in the same pan, so you're not using different pans, it's the same pan, so saves on the washing. Get the fat really hot, and then just drop the beef, not too close together, because you can do it in batches again. Just get the beef in the fat, making sure the fat's nice and hot. As long as the beef actually gets sealed and starts to go a little bit brown, don't worry about the flour sticking to the pan. That will come off as we add all the rest of the vegetables and the stock. So the next step is the beef's all sealed off, the flour's starting to disperse. I'm just going to add the rest of the vegetables and the button mushrooms. Just give it a quick stir. Twist of pepper. 200 to 300 grams of just chopped tomatoes. The tin tomatoes are fine. Just drain the juice off, and then just the plum tomatoes, just cut them into quarters or roughly chop them. They don't have to be perfect. It just adds that sweetness to it, and the tomatoes and the acidity just breaks down the beef. So all we have to do now, you've got everything in there, the flavours in there. We just add the beef stock. Just enough beef stock to cover it, because it won't evaporate that much in the oven, so you need your sauce to be rich as possible. And as you can see already, the sauce is thickening up, and that's because of the flour mixing with the beef stock. While this is simmering, we're just going to go away and just make some nice herb dumplings. 1 cup of suet to 1.5 cups of self-raising flour. Add your chopped parsley. Good pinch of salt. A good twist of pepper. And then what I do is I slowly add my water, so you just get the right consistency. And the consistency should be like of a scone dough, not too overdone, not too wet, but nice and fluffy. But for you to work it at home, see, it's just all sticking to your fingers and getting a bit claggy. You can either put it into the bowl, just a little bit extra flour, and just slowly work it into the dough. Don't push too far into the dough because you want the dough to be nice and fluffy. You know, when it goes in the oven and sits in the casserole, it puffs up, it forms that nice kind of crust that dumplings have. Just flour your board or your bench very lightly. You don't want to add too much flour because more flour is going to dry it out. Just get the dumpling mix on the board, just kind of slowly, just roll it so it's all nice. It looks like bread. So what we need to do now is we just need to make our little dumplings. What I do there is get my knife, just cut them into little pieces, just between your hand and the board. Just, slowly roll them and then cut them into nice little pieces. And again, just a bit of flour in the hand and then just roll them between your hands. Basically, they're ready to go into the pot. Dumplings are in, ready to go. We're just going to put the lid on the casserole and then we'll put it in the oven, 1.5 hours. We'll come back. Hopefully they should be crispy and perfect. For the last 10 minutes, I took the lid off just to get that crispiness on the dumplings and let them just get that nice brown colouring on them. It's been in there for an hour and the dumplings are cooked perfect. As you can see, they've just absorbed all that liquid. And there we have it, Daube Provençal with herb dumplings. Enjoy. Best served with cream mashed potatoes.